So today we are going to make bread and butter pickles. Just gonna grab a couple of these onions that are curing to add to our pickle recipe. First thing we have to do is get these washed and cut up. Okay, so we've got our vegetables washed, and we're gonna chop everything up about a 1/4 inch for the cucumbers, and you know, whatever you like for these, it doesn't matter. I just dice them up, not too fine, but it's really up to you. Then we're gonna stick them in this bowl with 1/3 of a cup of the pickling salt, and it's gonna go, we're gonna put ice, about, I don't know, that much ice on the top, and it's gonna go in the fridge for 3 to 4 hours, depending on your schedule, really. The head and tail these, and then they go to the chickens or your compost, whichever you like. About 1/4 of an inch-ish. I don't measure it. Some people do. You do what you want.
So Dan, the woodsman, decided to come in and show the lady of the homestead how to properly chop cucumbers.
You said you wanted these 1/4 of an inch.
Yeah, I do. Please.
My 1/4 of an inch is bigger than your 1/4 of an inch.
That's what she said. We've got 3.5 pounds of cool customer cucumbers in here, 2 large yellow onions, and 1 orange bell pepper. And we're just gonna mix this up. We're gonna add 1/3 of a cup of the pickling salt. Cover it with ice. Throw it in the fridge, 3 to 4 hours. During the last half an hour, while the cucumbers are in the refrigerator, we want to get the water in the canner and also get the cooking liquid for the pickles started. So I'm using, if you can see this, I'm not sure, I'm using my pressure canner as a water bath today. So you're going to want to have enough water in it to cover the tops of your jars. I am using pint jars today. And so the recipe that I use comes from the Amish cookbook. I have adjusted it to my liking and suggest that you do the same. This particular recipe calls for sugar. I use honey from my hives as an alternative. So also that recipe calls for regular vinegar. I use apple cider vinegar, and it's just either one, whatever your taste preference is, as long as it's a 5% vinegar, works fine. So I've got 3.5 pounds of cucumbers, so I'm going to use 3 cups of the apple cider vinegar. Black peppercorns, we're going to do a teaspoon of black peppercorns. I do heaping teaspoons, that's just me. You can do it however you want. And a teaspoon of cloves. And I like 2 teaspoons of ginger. Now again, you can use whatever spices you want in whatever quantities you want. I would encourage you to just experiment and see what tastes good to you. And the celery seed, let's see, 2 teaspoons of the celery seed. Two teaspoons of the turmeric. As you can see, I'm not super exact. It still tastes delicious, I promise. Okay, and last but not least, 2 tablespoons of mustard seed. I'm using yellow, organic yellow mustard seeds. You can use the brown ones if you want to. Oh, that was a heaping. Okay. And the last thing to put in is our honey. So this recipe calls for 2 cups of sugar, and I'm just going to use 2 even cups of honey. And I find that it's not too sweet. Now it just goes onto the burner. Get that going on a medium heat up into a boil. And while this is getting heated up and the canner is getting heated up, we will rinse out the cucumber mixture. So we're just going to take these ice cubes out, pop them in the sink, and then we are going to drain these, rinse them thoroughly, and we will be right back. The cucumbers have now been drained and thoroughly rinsed. So you just want to put all of your vegetables right into this really aromatic cooking liquid. And we're going to bring this back to a boil, and then we'll be filling the jars. Alright, so we've got our sterilized jars, we've got our lids, our rings are ready to go, we've got all of our tools, everything is ready to start filling up the jars. We are using pints today. This particular recipe in the canning bath will be 10 minutes for either pints or quarts, so it doesn't matter which size jar you're using. I personally love 1.5 jars. So in case you're not sure or you don't know yet, 1.5 jars are processed the same as quarts. If you ever are doing that in the future for pressure canning or water bath canning, good to know. So this is just starting to boil. I don't let it go crazy bubbly. I just basically want it to get hot. Also, my water bath is starting to bubble, so that's great. We will be utilizing this so I do not burn my hands off and end up in the hospital. Also, why you saw my husband chopping vegetables earlier. I don't know what it is. Super clumsy. Okay, so this is bubbling now, so I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to take it off of that particular burner, and we're going to start filling the jars. We want to keep these as sterile and sanitary as possible. I have a clean funnel, and we're just going to start filling them up. I've got 8 jars here, thinking I might be lucky to fill 4, but whatever. I like to make sure that more than what I need is sanitized and ready to go. We'll be doing more canning tomorrow, and if they stay upside down on the counter, it's not going to hurt anything. So I'm filling up these jars. I think you can see it. I'm filling it all the way. You're going to leave about 1/2 inch of head space. That means air space at the top. And you're going to want if you don't get enough cooking liquid in, pour a little bit more in. I have enough here, so happy with that. So I will set my utensils aside. You can use a rag. I'm using a paper towel. So you want to grab something and take your air out. So this tool is going to do double duty. This is going to get the air bubbles out of your jar. It's also got a magnet on the end which will help us pick up the lids without getting them all contaminated with our lotiony hands or whatever. So just go around your jar just like so. Everybody's got a method. This is how I do it. No right or wrong. Just try to get those bubbles out a little bit. If you leave bubbles in your jar, they could explode. Knock on wood. Not sure if that's real wood. But anyway, it's never happened so far. And I love this because it sticks to my microwave, so it's super, I don't know, convenient. Then wipe the rim of your jar. If you don't have a tight seal on your lid, you will be an unhappy camper. So then I just grab a lid. I'm not touching this rim. I'm keeping everything nice and sanitary. I might be a little bit more persnickety than some, but whatever. This is how I do it. Pop your ring on. And I can't get it tight because this is hot, a hot pack. So I do have a handy dandy mitt that will help me just kind of, you know, you only want it finger tight. You don't want it crazy, you know. You don't want to stick a wrench to it or anything. Just finger tight is fine. Now because my cooking liquid, not my cooking liquid, my water bath water is super duper hot. I'm using this, see, holds the jars real nice and sweet. I'll be using this again to take the jars out of the canner. Right, I am using my pressure canner as a water bath. You don't have to do that. You can use a giant pot or like a regular canner, put a rack on the bottom and you're good to go. Sometimes I take the pressure gauge off. I'm not today. The biggest difference here is I'm just not going to put the rocker on, so it's not going to be able to build up all that much steam. So I'm going to put the lid on. I've watched, you know, I follow a lot of other homesteaders, and they just kind of leave their lid on like yay, like kind of askew like this. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you're going to cook your stuff just fine. I personally like to close it. I've got this weird microwave up here that it just like absorbs all of my steam, and so I just find that I like to just go ahead and close this. So I don't count my time until this is at a full rolling boil. So right now you can probably hear it in the background. It's making noise. It's not even bubbling. I don't start my time until it is a full, well, you know what I mean, full rolling boil. Start your 10 minutes, so 10 minutes for these bread and butter pickles. And that's time. That means we take this off of the burner. It's super heavy. So I just take the whole thing and I put it onto a hot plate on the counter. I've got tile, so it's all good. You can leave it on your burner, not the hot one. All right, this is all done. It spent its 10 minutes in, as you can see. It is cooled off now, so we're gonna open it up, take the jars out, and oh, see that steam? Woo, still hot. So use your pads and open it away from your face. We do not want that much of a steam bath, right? Okay, then we're just gonna pop them out. Nice and easy. We're gonna just put them right on a towel, and we're just not gonna touch them again until tomorrow morning. By tomorrow morning, all of these should be sealed and they will be ready to wipe down. You wanna take your rings off and wipe down the jar, especially in the seal area. And as long as each one by tomorrow has popped down, you'll want to, I don't know if you heard that with my loud mouth, but these are starting to pop down. But before you put it in storage, after you've washed it, you'll want to pick up your jar without the ring on. Just pick it up tomorrow when it's nice and cool. You want to pick it up from the lid, not the ring. Take the ring off, and just from the lid, you're going to want to lift it up, just give it a little shake. Just want to make sure that that's got a nice tight seal on it. And at that point, you can go ahead and label them if you want to, and pop them into your pantry. Thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe, hit like, send me a comment, send me a message. Totally want to talk to you and get to know you a little bit better. And if you're interested in what did I do while all of this was in the fridge, check out my next video on how to properly chop wood. Alright, I hope you all are doing well. Talk to you later. Bye!